Shalom. First off, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahawah Chakodash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS who have taught us this word and teach us this word today. And I want to give a salutation unto the elect of the nation of Israel. This is the brother Yatazak Bob with the GMS Nebraska camp. This is GMS Endeavor. And in this lesson, what I want to go into is, trusting in the word of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Trusting in the words that are found in these scriptures because they're faithful and true. And what this stems off of, I was just something that had been on my mind recently through the spirit is what we read in the scriptures when Abraham was tempted and the Most High commanded Abraham to sacrifice Isaac. That's something that I had been thinking about, and through the spirit the elder Yashawamba went into it in a recent lesson of his, and the clip of it was sent to the group chat, and it was all through the spirit. Basically gave me the inspiration to do this lesson based off of Abraham's situation and how we can apply it to ourselves. In the elder Yashawamba's lesson, what he was going into is how we have, Abraham believed in the resurrection. And we have to ask ourselves, is our faith that strong? Do we believe in the resurrection? Do we believe, in the things that the Lord has told us, is going to happen and it's possible? The things that are intangible, the things that we haven't seen, But like I said, the elder was specifically speaking on resurrection. And while I'm not specifically speaking about that one aspect, all the things in the scriptures in general, do we believe them? Do we believe that we will be fed, once that MOTB is rolled out? Do we believe, that we will be guarded from all these troubles that are soon to come? So let's go ahead and read Genesis chapter 22, verse 1. It says, "And it came to pass after these things that the Most High did tempt Abraham and said unto him, Abraham. And he said, Behold, here I am." Now, first off, I want to get this word tempt and get it in the Hebrew, which is Strong's H5254, Nasa, which is to test, try, prove, tempt, assay, put to the proof or test. So the Lord was testing Abraham. He was putting him to the test. He was seeing what he was made of, seeing where his, if Abraham was strong in his foundation of faith toward the Most High. And we know how the story goes, but let's read on. It says, "And he said, Take now thy son, thine only son Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains, which I will tell thee of." Now, when you look at this isn't, we have to imagine, like, if this was something that we were being asked to do. If we were being asked to take our firstborn son and go and sacrifice him, with our own hand, that's something that's like, a high ask, for lack of better words. But when we get into Abraham's mindset within this whole situation, it shows us the mindset that we're supposed to have, the level of faith that we're supposed to have. So I want to read verse 3 here, and then we're going to go to the next precept. It says, "And Abraham rose up early in the morning and saddled his ass, and took 2 of his young men with him, and Isaac his son, and clave the wood for the burnt offering, and rose up, and went unto the place of which the Most High had told him." So the next morning, Abraham was on it. In one verse, the Lord asked, the Lord told Abraham what he wants them to do, and the next morning, Abraham was right on it. Now, just extrapolating in the what we're reading, it probably took, a lot of prayer for Abraham to be able to go through with it. It probably took, some resolve. All we read is that the next morning Abraham just got up and went. But we have to remember, Abraham had Ishmael, who he thought the promise was going to go through, and the Lord cast Ishmael aside, and Abraham had trust that the Lord would give him another son that the promise would go through, and it was Isaac. And Isaac is his, is the son of the promise. Isaac is, who the Most High has been telling Abraham is going to, take on the blessing, that through Isaac, that, Abraham's seed was going to be blessed, that, Isaac and his seed after him was going to inherit the land and all the promises that the Lord has been giving him. And now the Lord is asking him to sacrifice him. Now, when we go to Hebrews chapter 11, verse 17, and this is a great chapter over faith in and of itself. It speaks about how faith is essential in pleasing Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, and gives so many different examples of people in the scriptures, of men in the scriptures who had faith. But when we get to verse 17, it speaks about Abraham, which says, by faith Abraham, when he was tried, when he was tested, when he was put to the test, it says, offered up Isaac. And he that had received the promises offered up his only begotten son, of whom it was said that in Isaac shall thy seed be called, accounting that the Most High was able to raise him up, even from the dead, from whence also he received him in a figure. So Abraham believed that the Most High was going to raise Isaac up from the dead. Abraham believed in the Most High's word so much that he came to the conclusion that, okay, the Most High is testing me to see if I'm gonna sacrifice Isaac, but I'm gonna go through with it because I know that the Lord's word is true. The Lord is gonna raise Isaac back up so that his promise can still come to pass. That's the mindset that Abraham had. And what stands out to me in the situation is that Abraham trusted in the word of the Most High. Abraham trusted in the promises. And so we read these scriptures, we read about all the different promises, all the prophecies, all the things that is said, that is soon to come. And what else do the scriptures say? The scriptures tell us that we're going to be protected in the times to come, that those who are seeking Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai and put their trust in them are going to be protected. They're going to be all right. They're going to be fed. Now, right now, it may be easy to believe these different things, but as the times get rougher, as things get more bleak, are these things that we are going to continue to keep in our mind? Are we going to have this level of faith to believe that, even in something that seems, even in something that seems hopeless, the Lord is going to stand true on his word? So I don't want to speak too much. Let's just go to the next precept. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 30, verse 5, which says, every word of the Most High is pure. He is a shield unto them that put their trust in him. And the scriptures is the word. This is the word of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. It says that every word of the Most High is pure. Let's get that word pure. Strong's 868-84, which is Tazarap, and it says to smelt, refine, test, to smelt, refine, to test and prove true. So the Lord's words are tested and they're true. How do we know that? Because all the prophecies that the scriptures tell us that was going to come to pass, what are they doing? They have come to pass and they are coming to pass. Everything that the Lord has said, it always proves to be true. And I'm kind of jumping the gun. I wanted to bring the precept out later, so I'll just reference it right now. The scriptures say in Sirach chapter 2, name whoever trusted in the Lord and was confounded. When we look at Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, when they were going to be put to death, burnt in a furnace for not worshiping the idol that Nebuchadnezzar set up, they stayed strong within their faith, even in the face of death, and the Lord protected them. Even those who were put to death, but still stayed 10 toes down for the name of the Lord. We look at Stephen, for example. That their faith is still strong. They're still willing to be put to death because why? The Lord tells us that there's still a crown awaiting us. We'll be the first fruits of the kingdom if we put our lives down for this truth, and we have to believe that. Let's get Psalms chapter 9, verse 9, which says, the Lord also will be a refuge for the oppressed, a refuge in times of trouble. And they that know thy name will put their trust in thee. For thou, Lord, has not forsaken them that seek thee. And something I want to go into the word trust here because it's a different Hebrew word and it has something beautiful in it. When we go to Strong's H982, the Hebrew word batah, batach, this is a different word. This is a different Hebrew word for this word trust here than that was in the other precept. When we read it, it says to trust in, to have confidence, be confident, to be bold, to be secure. And to cause the trust, make secure. Here's the point. To feel safe, be careless. So this confidence, this security, this boldness, this almost carelessness that, believing in Yahweh Bahashim Yahawashi, should be able to give us. The scriptures tell us certain things. Hey, this is why the scriptures say I can do all things through Yahawashi that strengtheneth me. Because through these words, through this comforter that we have been given, we know that, the victory is secured for us of the hopeful elect. So in the face of death, whether we die or, make it to the end, we know that there's, a crown laid up for us. Or in the face of insurmountable odds, it's a situation that it seems like we shouldn't get out of. We're still able to be careless, and not careless in the mindset of just not careless in a negative manner, but careless in the manner that you believe that no matter what happens, the Lord got you. That's the type of mindset that we're supposed to have. It says, let's read Psalms 9 and 10 again. It says, and they that know thy name will put their trust in thee. And hey, this is a cut to all the Israelites out there that say that the name of the Lord doesn't matter, that the name of the Most High and the Son don't matter. You can call them whatever. That's not true. We have to know those true names, which is Yahweh and Yahawashi. It says, and they that know thy name will put their trust in thee. For thou, Lord, has not forsaken them that seek thee. So we continue to seek after Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahawashi, and seeking him is in word and action. There has to be deeds behind seeking Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahawashi. And if we continue to seek him, the Lord is going to look out for those who seek him. The Lord is going to look out for them that strive for the truth unto death. And that's faithful and true. We have to believe that. So let's get I believe this is the last precept I wanted to grab. Yep. Let's get Sirach chapter 2. And we can start at verse 10. It says, look at the generations of old and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded? Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? And that's why the scriptures say that all that was written aforetime were written for our learning. Like I mentioned, Hebrews chapter 11 is a beautiful chapter that gives so many different examples of men in the scriptures that had faith in, many different situations. But they were all, times of distress, times of trouble, where they sought refuge in Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahawashi. They trusted in the Lord's words and they leaned upon the Most High, and they were delivered. It says, for the Lord is full of compassion and mercy, long-suffering and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins and saveth in time of affliction. And hey, that's what Yahawashi's blood did for us. We have to believe that we're covered by that blood, that the Lord has caused us to be blameless, caused us to be of the elect through his blood. It says, woe be to the fearful hearts and faint hands and a sinner that goeth two ways. Here's the point. Verse 13, woe unto him that is faint-hearted, for he believeth not. Therefore shall he not be defended. That shows how important faith is in believing, because it says for those who don't believe, they're not going to be defended. And that's why it says in Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 6, but without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to the Most High must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. So if we're doubting, if we're fearful, if we get into these times of Jacob's trouble and these times to come where, essentially Jacob's trouble that we're coming into, if we get to these times and we're being fearful, we're doubting, we don't think that, the Lord is going to look out for us how the scriptures tell us he would, we're not going to be defended. You know, so Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahar Kodash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS and a salutation unto the elect. Shalom.